江郎才尽. The young lad Jiang has spent up his talents. Between the years 420 to 589 AD, China was split up into two major kingdoms, one in the north and one in the south. Naturally, during this almost 200-year-long period, various different kings were proclaimed and overthrown, and the period is now remembered as the Northern and Southern Dynasties. In the south, the first kingdom was called Song, which lasted for about 2 generations, followed by Qi, Liang, and finally Chen. One of the most famous men of this time, born during the kingdom of Song and living until the kingdom of Liang, was a poet called Jiang Yan. Jiang Yan came from a very poor family but was a very good student in school. He became very famous early in his youth for being a masterful poet. Since he was very young, he earned the nickname Jiāngláng, meaning the young lad Jiang. Unfortunately for our hero, his good fortunes didn't last. It is said that he had a dream where he met a man called Guo Pu, who told him that he had borrowed his writing brush to Jiang Yan all these years and finally wanted it back. Jiang Yan gave back the man his pencil, and after he woke up, he was unable to ever write a beautiful sentence again. In his later years, Jiang Yan's poetry never matched that of his youth, and people started saying that his talent for poetry was all used up, creating the saying, "The young lad Jiang has spent up his talents." I think we've all had writer's block at some point in our lives, even though it usually only lasts for a limited amount of time and not for the rest of our lives. The chengyu is usually applied fairly liberally, meaning that if you're writing a story and you're out of ideas, you do not have to wait until you're dead before you can use it. You can call your friend and say, I've been trying to write all day, but I'm just like the young lad Jiang who spent up his talents. I can't write anything. Finally, there's a different way to look at the tragic life of Jiang Yan that isn't perhaps very common, but nonetheless I think makes sense. A few years back, a good friend of mine was writing his first book and expressed some worry that in the 1 in a million chance that he would write a bestseller, he wasn't sure that he would be able to write a second one. I explained this chengyu and then noted that, yes, the young lad Jiang is remembered mainly for losing his talents, but at the very least he did have it at one point or another. The good poetry he wrote is still known to us, and, well, it is very good. So what if the poetry he wrote in later years wasn't good? His early works aren't bad just because his later works aren't good. Personally, I would much rather know that I've written one good piece amongst many bad than never having written anything good at all.